All right, today we are in Illustrator because as you would tell, we needed a little bit of help. Blender became a bit complex, so we needed some help from Illustrator. So what I did with our logo is I went back to, if you can see, let me just import it so you can see it in let me just import what I downloaded so you can see it. So I went back to the internet and I downloaded this stuff from the internet, this one right here. And then I went to object, I went to image trace, and we click on make and expand. So you can do that with anything which is in black and white, even if it's not in black and white, but with black and white, it can extract even better. So it breaks down the logo into black and white. Where you see black and where you see white, breaks down all the parts and puts them on each layer. At first, it was just an image. At first, it was an image, and now it is broken down into all these layers, which you can just get the text and use it, the logo, without recreating it. But still, we need to do some cleanup. As you can see, this star is attached to this. These ones are also attached. Even the letter here, letter E, is attached to this thing. You can tell it is attached by those blue lines, outlines that you can see going around the text, and even the points if you hold down the space bar or any other key. So while you are in this mode here, so we need to clean this up. That's what you found me doing here in this one here. So I think we've done a lot of cleanup. We should now move on and go back. I show you how to import this one to Illustrate to Blender, so you can extrude it as 3D. So you don't have to recreate the whole 3D logo, model it in Blender. Okay, so here's what I have. This is what I've got so far. The rest of the stuff, I think there's some stuff I need to delete. Is it this? Or is it? I think it's on this layer. This layer still has a lot of stuff I need to delete. Yes, Joshua. Joshua today is your lucky day, because we are going to be looking at how to use Illustrator to create vector graphics, and then you export them to Blender and extrude them as 3D objects. Again, to take you through what I did with the logo, I went back to the internet and I downloaded part of the logo. And then I took it in Photoshop and I inverted the colors so it became white and black instead of black and white. And then you can go to object and you go to image trace and you click on make and expand. But when this one is selected, you go on image trace, make and expand. So instead of an image, Illustrator has converted this into vector, into the different layers with each object here. This letter is put on a different layer. So all these layers here, but they need some cleanup, like the E is attached to this vector graphic and you need it separate. So that's what I'm trying to do here, trying to clean up the logo. But as far as everything is concerned, I think this letter I think we need to move to Blender very quick. I've done most of the part of the logo. Otherwise, you can recreate the whole logo if you want. But I thought it will take more time when we model it in 3D, while we can just import this graphic and extrude it in 3D. So let me do the last cleaning up here and clean up the last parts. Then we go to Blender. Let me see this. Okay, this is the white in the text. This is the white down there. This is all this one. I don't need this. Just delete that. And what next? I have my letter O. Okay, this is not letter O. This is supposed to be in the circles layer. So we have letter D. Move it up here. This one is for, okay, let's leave that one, but put it in the circles layer. And this white one also, we can move it up here in the circles in that layer. So we have double, but letter E is gone. I don't know where. So we can borrow this letter E from down here. You can use Alt click, Alt down, and then you move this one. That's a copy. When you hold down Alt, you make a copy. So we can move this copy on this layer. So we have two layers for double and treble. So I'll just create a new layer up there and call it double and move it at the top and place all these layers there and make letter E black. Select it and use letter I. Letter I brings up this eyedropper tool right here, eyedropper. So I can just pick the color and our letter is black. So if you want, you can go back to this example and see if you have everything in place. Right now we don't have everything, but we are pretty much close. Maybe we can create some stars. Can move this one to this and I close this. Oh, seems like it doesn't move, has it? Doesn't. Let me import it again. Okay, so I hold down shift and I use the arrows, direction arrows to move that thing into place. So you can be able to look at this and see where to put the star. So to create a star in Illustrator is easier than, it's easier. You can just go to one of these objects here. Where is it? This one, objects or shapes. These ones are called shapes. So shapes, and under the shapes we have rectangles, ellipses, round rectangle, and star. So simple as clicking and dragging like this. And if you hold down Alt, you can reduce the size there, the amount in the middle there. Hold down Alt while you drag, click and drag. So we have stroke on our star, but we don't want a stroke, we just want the fill. So we look for properties. These are the panels that you see here, these ones here. You can find them under window. So we are looking for the one called properties. Properties here. Okay, you remove, we go to stroke and you click on this icon to remove the stroke. So we only have the fill, but the fill, we need the color to be black. Okay, so we have our star. We use letter V to get this tool here, the selection tool, letter V. And then you click and drag into place. And then you hold down Alt key you click and drag to make a copy, and you go back to this tool, the selection tool, using letter V, and then you scale down this one by holding down shift to keep the proportion. All right. If you want, you can copy this stuff and apply it down here, and also here, and also here. Let's do that for next. Let's keep that for next time. So I can delete the reference here. I think we really need to apply some stuff here. It's really looking blank. Let me use Ctrl Z to undo that. And let's copy this one. Let's copy the whole layer. Just those circles. Let's just click and drag to this new layer icon to create a copy of the layer. So we use the selection tool to move this thing around here, and we hold down, you click and hold down until you apply it on this create new layer to get another copy, and move that copy down here. You scale it down, holding down shift. Okay. Move that with direction arrows. So let's first see if we have something now. Okay, so let's create more of these ones here. Well, let's just duplicate this by using the Alt key, rotate it a bit, and click and drag it down there. You can also duplicate it again, holding down Alt key, scale it down, place it somewhere there. And lastly, duplicate this one again and move it down here. All right, so they are behind this black thing here. That's why they are not entering into the letters. So you simply put something on a layer and you put it on top so that it is on top of everything. So this text is on top of everything, and the text is on top of this background white thing. If I move the background white thing on top, you notice it is covering everything. So it needs to be down there, depending on that's what we call a hierarchy. Anyway, so I think we go with this one. Let's see. Let's delete this reference layer. Click on Ctrl S to save your file, but this time you go to File and Save As, or you use Ctrl Shift S, and under Save As type you choose SVG. Okay, and you click on Save, and here let's just go with the default settings. I'm not going to change anything here. Just go click on OK. All right, so now I'm going to share Blender so we can import this stuff. Perfect. So next is go to File and import. So you're going to import file here is scalable vector graphics. Okay, click on that, and then you look for the file under the folder Blender classes SVG double logo.svg. Excellent. Now we have a logo there, but it's too small. It is hiding in the box here in the tube. So let's first delete the tube using letter X, and then use this tool here for selection. Select box, and you will notice we have our logo there. So let's use scale S to scale everything. You see it right there. So before you can scale, let me just zoom in instead. Or you can, I think it's right. It's on right click. It's not right click. I think it's select. I've been using this. How to you zoom in on the object. Let me just scroll. Use the scroll button to zoom in. All right. So this is what we have. I think we really need to scale it. So let me go. But to scale it, let's first use the cursor, or you can change the origin. Instead of to cursor, you can change the origin to object. So let me bring the cursor up here, and then let's go to scale. So select everything in this like so. Go back to the selection tool and select everything and scale now. But it's still scaling from the origin. That's the problem. So how to change that? Don't remember how to change that. Let's first scale this. Oh, I think we can select this stuff and look for, if you want to change the units, you can change the units from here, from centimeters to whatever. So if we can find the properties or the scale properties. Let's try to use these options here for transformation pivot point. Transformation pivot point might be on let's try individual origins and see if that works. That's not working. Let's try 3D cursor. That will work, because if we can get the 3D cursor in the center of this object, we can be able to scale the object from the center of the object, because the 3D cursor is right there. So that tool helps a lot. So I think active element 2, where I don't know where's the active element now. This one. Anyway, so I think now we have it in where we want it, in the center of the scene. So let's try to rotate it and see. Let's first go back to selection, select this, go back to area for rotation. Something wrong here. We might want to break down this logo. Okay, now the pivot moved. That's the problem. The pivot is right this side. Set origin to geometry. That's what we want to do. So we have our origin in the object, so we can rotate it now. Rotate on the y-axis, sorry, x-axis, like that. Rotate 90 degrees, type in 90 and press enter. So I think we had only one thing selected. We need to select everything. Okay. So use Control Z. Yes, so we have imported our object from Illustrator using import SVG, because we saved it as SVG because that's what you need to import vector graphics to 3D in Blender. But in Cinema 4D, just export as Illustrator 5 version 8. So now what we are doing is we are trying to extrude the logo and see what we have. So we need to first rotate this thing. Let's first select everything by going to the selection box, go to rotation, but the problem is the rotation is this side here, and we want it to be on the object. So if you right click, you can go to set origin and you go to set origin to geometry. Okay. So it comes back to geometry, to each of the geometries, but you can also set it to geometry origin. So it brings back the geometry to the origin of the of the point, of the pivot point. That's the pivot point right there, that small point you see. So let's just use the geometry. So the pivot point finds the object. So let's rotate this. With letter R on the y-axis, sorry, x-axis, 90 degrees. Just type in 90 and we are done. So next, we want to extrude this stuff. I think there's a rotation problem. So here is what we are going to do. Just go to the front side view and you make sure the logo is standing upright. And then go to the front view and make sure it is standing on the right axis. Make sure the faces are looking at the right direction. So let's look for the front view, double trouble. I don't know if this is the right front view button, but I think now we have our logo standing. So we need to extrude this. Need to extrude. So we have, the problem is we have this B, letter B sitting on its own. The curve might be okay, might need some editing, but it's also sitting on its own. The best thing to do would be renaming this thing. So let's rename this border, or let's name this border for now. Don't know the right spelling of border. Name this small biggie for background. Name this star. Name this small star. The rest of this stuff we are going to combine it. So let's first combine this by selecting all of them at once. Right click and join those. There's the There is the joining thing. You can use the shortcut Control J. I think Control J will join that. Yeah, so we have all that in one. Let's just call it curves below. And let's see if we can also combine these. Let's create a new collection up here. This one is just going to help us organize this stuff. So just click and drag it to put it up there, to put this one below it. You might also want to combine those because they are many. So let's put them in a new collection. Call that designs. Okay, let's move this one below it. Move this one is in designs. This one too. This one too. This one is musical instrument. How do you call that thing? So call the note. Not one, not two. Because these ones are not so many. I think they are only three. Not three, and this circle. This one designs. You might want to find another thing for these circles because there are many. This just helps you to stay organized and know where everything is. So unfortunately, I put these in circles, but they're not circles. Let's just call them curves. Then we create another one for circles. So this is basically how you are seeing might look like if you have a lot of objects in the scene. So that's why you need to organize this stuff in organize this into folders or collections. Let's first get our text. I think let's first move these circles into something because they are cluttering all over the place. All these are circles. Let's move them into the circles collection and close the circles collection by clicking on this triangle. So lastly, let's create two more collections. You can even use layers by moving these things onto layers, but let's not use complicated stuff. Layers are like for people who have a lot of stuff to work on. So let's just rename this double trouble. We're going to put our double trouble text there. So move that border. these curves are supposed to be under curves. This is another border, also another biggie background. I think this one is supposed to be now. Something I forgot. I think we should have named these depending on the colors that they are going to be getting. Let's name this one text biggie. So background of the text. Let's get our text. Trouble. Let's arrange that later. Trouble, trouble. This is really wasting our time. But in order to be able to texture it as you want, you need to first make sure it's as organized as you want it to be. So let's do this. So hold down Control to select those, and you are missing letter B and letter U to create the word trouble. You know, it's not rearranging. So the rest of the notes might end up. The reason I'm also separating them is because some of them are small, others are big, and when it comes to applying the thickness is not the same. But for the text, the thickness will be the same. This is letter B. This is letter L. So you see when we name it, so let's call this one double L1. That's the first L there. Letter D, move it in the text collection. And let's say this one should be our letter O. This letter O is supposed to have its own layer. Let's first put it in the circles for now. So let's try to extrude this stuff. You see, this stuff seems like it's already extruded, but when you look at this on the 3D perspective, you will see that it's a flat surface. So let's try to extrude this stuff. Let's start with the text. Let's first bring in our letter O. Let's create a new collection very quick. call it letter O. Okay, we already had a collection that's doing nothing. Let's first delete this one. So from the circles, we are going to look for the letter O. This is one of the letter O. Another one, D3. Next, this one. And this one. Okay, so I think it's better to take this letter O in here, but the problem is this one that's smaller than the thickness of the text. So let's keep letter O where it is. Let's go with double trouble first and extrude it by selecting all of it. And then let's create some space here. Again, let's go to the data object, data properties, and we look for geometry, and you go to extrude. Okay, only one is extruding. Let's fix that by combining this stuff. So let's first look for the trouble. This trouble is supposed to be down there, but it is giving me hard time. So let's create a quick collection here, call it double, and call this one trouble. So move this at the top, and let's move everything here. I think both of these at the top. So let's look for the word double and separate it from the word trouble, because you have to combine this stuff. So letter O is missing, right? The letter U is also missing. So I think we have everything here. So let's select everything, go right click. You need to join this stuff. Let's use Ctrl J as shortcut. So we have everything there. So we can go back to object data properties under extrude, under geometry, and extrude that stuff. Let's say point 0.005. Let's click there, use Ctrl C to copy that. Now you might want to go to the bevel, try to zoom in a bit, and apply some bevel. Let's add 0.03, still too much. 0.003, still too much. 0.0009, I guess 0.0003 will do. 3 zeros. No problem, but it's looking nice, right? Yeah, a bit nice. Joshua, you're there? You're following? Our time is almost over for this first portion of the class. So we come back in the second portion Let's first finish with this double trouble. Come back in the second portion. Use Control J, join that. The whole trouble word. Control J to join that. Go to Object Data Properties under Geometry and extrude to 0.03. Was it? It was 0.003. And then under depth, it was 0.0003. So under resolution, can take that to 3. That will be fine. Let's do the same with this under resolution, put 3. Excellent. Our logo is coming together. So we do the same with the rest of the stuff. So like this thing here, text biggie, can do the same. Give it an extrude of 0.003 and a bevel depth of 0.0003. So we will have to move the text, or we might want to reduce that to, all right, we'll come back. So during the break, I've tried to extrude this small parts, and I've also extruded one of the background parts. That's why the background part is trying to cover up the extruded stars here. So let me first separate the background from these stars. Star 1, star 2. Let's first create a quick collection for that. Let's take, I think you can take back this one into this and name this double trouble. So you can delete this one, or you can rename this stars or graphics. Might bring back some other graphics here. The one I named the designs, I wanted to name it graphics instead. So let's first move this small knot into graphics, move the stars into graphics. Next, select the background. There is the first background. I think we might not need that one. We might go with this one that we have. So there's this one and there's this one. Let's have a look at the reference. Let's click on Ctrl S to save this file. I can't even believe we hadn't saved it in the first round. So we have to rename this double trouble. 3D logo. Click on Save Blender File. And next, let's first see what we are dealing with. Let's bring back the example. Let's go to let's try to go to the material preview. Nothing here. What happened to our tube? Sorry, our reference thing we had brought in last time. I'm not sure. Let's first, let me go to the Windows. Double click this thing. So the problem, I don't know how to fix this, but whenever you're sharing Blender and you open up a new window, I'm sure you're not seeing the new window that I've opened up. This one here with the logo. So I'm trying to look at the reference while I try to look at the logo and see what is missing. So the reference says we might not need that part there. We might need it maybe, but let me see. So the reference says we need to start moving the things in front and behind. This thing we need to move it in front, and then we need to leave the rest of the things behind. So let's try to do that. Let me share Blender again. All right, so our backgrounds first, let's first move this back on this line here, because this is the one we should be using as our reference. So next. Okay, we'll move the text in front now. Okay, so next, this one. I think this one first, turn it off. So let's go to our double trouble text. Go to this one is trouble. This one is double. So select trouble and use the move tools to move it in front like so. So it is sitting on this plate, so to say. Okay, that is one. Next, we need to move the stars, the designs, even these designs, we need to, I haven't extruded this, so here is what I'm going to do. I have under graphics, these notes have been extruded. If you see that they are extruded. So I'm going to just copy what is on the notes. Copy the extrude using, click there and click and use Ctrl+C to copy. You come on this one and you paste the extrude. Click on the next one, copy the, paste the extrude value, and do that with the rest. Okay, so those are extruded. Can even decide to take these. Let's first go back to the reference a bit. So let me show you the reference and you see what I'm talking about. So what we see in the reference is we have some of these that are red, we have some of them that are black. So that is one of the reasons I've been trying to separate them. But in this class, we might end up, let me first put all of them in one collection so that we can make the work faster and easier for us of extruding them. So let me share Blender again. Select these and move them to the graphics and delete the designers collection. Let's try to see the curves. Okay, one more thing before we move on to the curves. Let's copy the depth, the bevel depth, and also apply it on this stuff here. Bevel depth, copy and paste. The bevel depth value of I don't know the easiest way to do it in Blender, to do all of them at once. So the next thing, let's work on these curves. Let's just extrude those. You're not going to give them the depth, the bevel depth, because they are too small for that. But if you want, you can go on and add that. Actually, I think the fastest way to do that was to combine everything. But since some of this stuff was going to be and was going to use a separate color, that's why I had not put all of them at once. But that would be if even faster, because instead of doing one by one, can select everything here. Use Ctrl J to combine it. So like this one, it's going to be easier. Just do extrude on all of those at once, and it's done.